the last time we spoke about the Pelicans, we spoke about the Grizzlies, we spoke about Nuggets, we spoke about Mavs, we briefly spoke about the Warriors and the Nets, teams that were doing well, right? Uh, Today, I want to speak about teams that are contenders, but there has been a glitch in the matrix. Like, are they really contenders? Is there a weak spot? I'm talking about the Milwaukee Bucks, and I want to talk about the 2021 finalists, the Phoenix Suns, because they were on top of the Western Conference not too long ago, and now they've lost 9 of the last 10 games.
And all of their players.
We'll also, and we'll end the episode talking about the trade deadline and some of the pieces that may be coming in. So let's get started. We'll start off with the Phoenix Suns. Like I mentioned, 1-9 in the last 10. They're in playing spot. At the start of the season, if you remember, I told the Phoenix Suns had the window, 2 seasons, where they reached the final in one they lost to Luka Doncic. And I felt that their window was over because the teams had gotten better. Warriors were there. Clippers got better.
Correct.
Lakers, I thought, would have gotten better. Denver got better and all. But Phoenix Suns didn't really belong there. But they started off the season really well. They were on top of the West for a long time. Before Booker pulled his hamstring and now is out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And they are suddenly looking like a very mediocre team. Is this a drop-off? Or do you think they still can contain?
No, I had very little faith even at the start of the season. Right? If you remember, my take was they're going to be regular season dominance, pure dominance in the regular season, and then in the playoffs they're going to tail off and get screwed by somebody or the other. I remember this discussion, right? I said, I think this is the team that I said, they're similar to Utah Jazz once upon a time, where they would kill it in the regular season, be amazing, and then for what? You go to the postseason and then you get played. I don't see it any differently, and now, so the situation they're in right now, Ayton is their best player, and pretty much their only player. The rest is just Cam Johnson and whoever else is fit and whatever. Campaign, and whoever else is fit. Chris Paul's out. Booker's been out. Ayton's the one sort of star-ish name that they have. Star-ish because they themselves don't want to give him a max contract, let alone what the rest of the league thinks of him. For him, it's an opportunity to prove why he was the number 1 overall pick, because nobody gets it to date. But other than that, he doesn't want to be in Phoenix. So Phoenix are stuck with 1 superstar out, 2 superstars out, third superstar-ish player has no interest in being there. He's like Miles Turner in Indiana. He's just every day there's a new rumor and Ayton wants out. Except Miles Turner has a good PR team and Ayton doesn't. This is done. Like, this team is done. Even if Booker and Paul come back, what's the best case scenario? They finish top 3, something like that, maybe top 4, go to the playoffs. I don't fancy them against the Mavs. I think Luka will toss them again. I don't fancy them even against the Clippers. Even if they're half fit, they're going to put them to the sword. And the other teams, for me, are way stronger. Frankly, even against the Pelicans, if they face off against them at any point. Zion being fit, I don't see the Suns taking down the Pelicans. Especially if they get Ingram back with Zion. Then that's a problem. Pelicans are probably, by the way, they're proving to be one of the deepest rosters. We thought it was the Clippers, but the Pelicans are just nuts. Like 1 through 15, everyone, brings something to the table. That's pretty insane. Yeah, so I don't fancy the Suns at all, regardless of fitness.
Absolutely, and I think one of the major reasons for this is Chris Paul, right? And when they got him in 2 years ago, he was the guy who was supposed to elevate this team from a team that didn't even make the playoffs to a team that could contend and even make the NBA Finals. He made Devin Booker look really good as well.
Yeah.
I think that Chris Paul is no longer the Chris Paul we have today because he's old. He doesn't play 2 consecutive games. He can't really have good performances 2 consecutive games. His numbers have dipped. His 3-point shooting has dipped. And he can't really carry an offense in the absence of Booker. Booker, when he was there, he could carry this offense, right?
Yeah.
You look at this team, there's no scorer apart from Booker. Chris Paul doesn't score anymore. Bridges, not really a scorer.
No.
He can never get you those 30-point games. He can get you 15, 20 probably. Never get you the 30, 40 point games, right? The team was so dependent on Booker, and Booker made this team look so good. And Chris Paul was the second guy there. He's no longer the second guy. I think Bridges is better. I think Ayton is better. Chris Paul is just dropped. And it's not to blame Chris Paul. He's 36, 37 something. It's how average players drop. You just can't compare everyone to LeBron. That LeBron is a beast.
As ESPN reminds us 20 fucking times in each quarter, LeBron is a beast. In his 20th year, 38.
Absolutely.
He is, no question.
Yeah, and And they didn't really find a replacement for Jay Crowder. It's halfway through the season, and Jay Crowder is still a part of the roster. He hasn't played a single minute, and they haven't found a replacement. They haven't found a trade package for him. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be a playing team at best, and probably might not make the playoffs. I won't be surprised. I think it is due for an overall. I think Aiton Bridges, they could probably get a better player. They could combine it into one package, get a big star. KD was available over the summer. They had the opportunity to go that side. They didn't go. Now I don't know. Somebody will become unhappy. I won't be surprised, but that's the package. I think that will go off.
Man, we're like 2 weeks away from sports podcasts linking Aaron Rodgers to a possible move to the Phoenix Suns. It's about to happen. They've linked him with pretty much every NBA.
Holding onto his jersey and whatever.
Yeah, it's insane. You know what? I think the Crowder situation just baffles me. Right, some of the decisions that they've made. They refuse to play him. They refuse to move on. They, for some reason, value him enough to look out for the right trade package, but not enough to play him. Or, whatever. They can't work out what he wants versus what they want from him. Same with Aiton. Don't give a guy a max contract. You've damn near told the whole world you don't think he's all that. But you expect him to perform like he's all that. It's not going to happen. And then you don't move on from him either. You're just hoping the universe will drop some amazing trade package on your doorstep, where any world-class GM by now would have made 50 moves to try and make that happen. Like how how Daryl Morey got going. The moment he set foot in Philly's office, he's like, okay, boom, 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 bring in Harden, we'll do this, we'll do that. Whether it works out or not, it remains to be seen. But, make some moves. For Crowder, I think there are so many teams that could use a player like Crowder.
Absolutely. Crowder is a player that can play on an NBA Finals team.
Yeah, just for drama value, I think the Lakers should get him. I think we're having some kind of internet lag. So I was saying just for drama value, the Lakers should get him because just like how the locker room got super awkward when Pat Bev stepped in and there's Russ in the same locker room. Imagine if Crowder steps into a locker room with LeBron after the whole shenanigans in the playoffs. That's going to be fun. Right, yeah.
Absolutely. The other team I want to talk about is the other finalist from 2021 who went on to win the title, Milwaukee Bucks. Now, we've always valued the Milwaukee Bucks right up there, right? Like the best team in the league, was probably the second best team in the league at the moment. Somehow, this season, something has not clicked for them. It's weird because they're still third in the standings. It's weird because they've lost 6 of the last 10. They had a 4-game losing streak. What is weird to me is not Giannis. Giannis is awesome. He gets you 35, 14, 7 every single game. That's okay. My problem is Chris Middleton went off for the playoffs with an MCL sprain. He was supposed to miss the playoffs. He was supposed to be back for the start of the season. He's played a total of 7 games this season. Joe Holiday has missed around 11, 12 games already. And my problem with the Bucks is that they haven't had their starting lineup play enough minutes. Their preferred starting 5 of Giannis, Brook Lopez, Joe Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Grayson Allen, or whoever you want to put in the 5th spot, have played a total of 41 minutes this season. That's not even one full game. Yeah. And my worry is that the Milwaukee Bucks have not had enough exposure with it. I mean, they've played a couple of seasons together and all that, but this season, after Middleton's injury, Drew Holiday, whatever injury he's carrying, they haven't really had enough minutes. And this worries me because you've seen this in the past, right? You've seen this with the Clippers in the past, you've seen this with the Brooklyn Nets in the past where Kyrie, Harden, KD did not play enough minutes and they got knocked out by the Milwaukee Bucks themselves. You also saw this with the Warriors last season where Klay, Steph and Draymond can't play, but that's an anomaly. I don't think anyone can replicate that model. Would you worry about the Bucks in the same way?
I mean, it is cause for concern. I'm not going to lie. From multiple facets, right? Earlier, some of these games, they could have relied heavily on Brook Lopez, both ends of the floor. He's nifty with the 3, but last 2 seasons, he's also slowed down. He's still dependable in big games. You can expect him to come through clutch, but you can't expect him to do that night in, night out. And this is not a regular season comment. I mean this in the playoffs also. You can't expect him to do that through an entire playoff series. So that's gone. So the thing that worries me the most is the Middleton issue because it's been a while now, and for an MCL sprain, something's up. Either they're not, telling the world what it is, or it's just surprising how long it's taking. Because KD now has the same injury. If that's the benchmark of how long people take, even assuming KD, even 50% of that, it's a long layoff. So that concerns me the most. And then whenever Drew sits out, they lose both ends of the floor big time. Like Middleton sets up his defense in the playoffs. Drew's always on 10, dialed up to 10 on defense. So now they're looking at their bench. They really don't have. If Joe Ingles is one of your best scoring options off the bench or starting, depending on who's injured and who's not, you know you're in doomsday. Uh, and that's pretty much where they are. It's Joe Ingles. They've got Bobby Portis again. He's nifty off the bench, brings some energy, whatever. But he's not like he can't give them what Brook Lopez used to give them. So literally, this team is now, if the fitness issues continue, this team is basically the Eastern Conference Mavs. There's one guy who puts some human efforts, and that's about it. There's not really much of a defense also because they've lost most of the guys that can defend. They need to make some moves fast. I think they need to acquire some depth. Because they're pretty much, if you forget the fact that Giannis is not Aiton, they're in a Suns kind of situation where the backcourt is pretty much down and out for most parts of the season, and the bench, Suns at least have some semblance of bench strength. These guys don't, and something that they have to build up. Some of those trades that they made are probably coming back to haunt them because they did give up some depth in the process of acquiring Drew Holiday and so on and so forth. Like DiVincenzo, wouldn't hurt to have him around. For instance. So, yeah, it is concerning for sure. Can it be turned around? Yeah, maybe. It's a bit like the Warriors right now. Once you're NBA champs, you get some sort of benefit of doubt. So it's a bit like the Warriors in that regard, that this team, if fit, can still be a tour de force. But it is 100% a cause for concern.
Absolutely. A few injuries around the league. KD is out, like you mentioned. He's out for at least. He's going to be re-evaluated in 2 weeks, and Woj tweeted that he's going to be out for at least 1 month. Now, how does this impact the Brooklyn Nets, who were on a tear and possibly the best team in the league right now over the last 20 games?
So it'll be interesting because my curiosity is, what version of Kyrie are we going to get now? Is he going to step up, take over the team, dominate? Are we going to get Kyrie, the spokesperson nobody asked for, 2.0? I don't know. I think they're okay. I don't know if they'll quite hold up the same sort of win streak, but I think they're still okay because I think somewhere in this whole KD process, they figured out some form and shape to their defense. For me, it's actually an opportunity for Ben Simmons to step up. There's still that 1% hope in me that someday this guy will prove that he's actually worth that number 1 draft pick. Because just on defense, it's not good enough. This isn't the NFL. You're not a cornerback. You can't get by just on defense. And the thing is, as a Lakers fan, I've seen so many games where Embiid's out. Just against the Lakers, where Simmons showed up and he just dominated, 41 points, 42 points, 10 assists, just amazing performances. I don't know if that Simmons is even alive somewhere inside him today. But I think it's an exciting opportunity for him to bring that out. Because Kyrie is going to Kyrie. There's no stopping him. So if Simmons can step it up, it'll be fascinating what this way. I'm just excited to see the possibilities of how the team play will shift now that the biggest gun is on the sidelines. But no, the same win streak, and no way they're going to drop it. Huh?
Absolutely. You saw this with the Warriors when Steph was injured. The rest of the guys stepped up,
Yep.
and they kind of held fort, right? Like they're still 20-20, and they were 500 team when Steph got injured, and now Steph is coming back soon. So the Nets have a similar opportunity where I think they were very dependent on KD. KD is having one of the best seasons of his career at this age. It's incredible what he's doing, and this probably gives Kyrie and Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and Joe Harris and all those guys a chance to step up and be counted. Zion's out for 3 weeks. You briefly mentioned that. The Pelicans seem to be doing well without him. They seem to be doing well without Brandon Ingram. CJ McCollum's taken a lot of the offensive load. Valanciunas finally gets a little bit of the ball now that all the main players are injured. And I think the Pelicans will stay there. I love their depth. Herb Jones, Draymond the third, Najee Marshall. They just keep discovering.
It keeps going. Keeps going, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Embiid has gone out for the last few games with a foot injury, and he was on a tear. I mean, I was doing the All-Star vote recently, and I was like, do I put Tatum, KD, Giannis, and Embiid? I need to drop one. And I was just circling down Embiid all the time just because of the number of games he misses. Is that even fair? Because he was averaging near 40 in over the last 6-7 games before he went out. If you had to pick one if you had to drop one among Tatum, KD, Giannis, and Embiid, Now, I think injuries will come in way and KD will probably miss the All-Star game. That makes it easy for Embiid. But if you had to pick, who would you drop?
Embiid, I won't bat an
You
eyelid.
can't drop Giannis.
I've been consistent on this for 3 years. I would drop Embiid in any four-man set. It just feels 3 fucking years. It feels like deja vu. Every year, this time of the year, we come and we have the Embiid conversation. It's either now or sometime close to the playoffs. It's pre-All-Star game or just pre-playoffs or play-ins that Embiid does his thing. And then in the good old 76ers, it's just a question of when and in what order. Embiid and Simmons are both going to go down. It's just a question of when and in what order. And we're back there again. Yeah, I mean, it's something I've come to expect with Embiid. A lot of people blame him for it. I don't know. I don't know if it's conditioning or it's just sometimes bodies that big doing the kind of stuff that these guys do. There's always a risk that, and some of these injuries they pick up, they're gonna stay with them for the length of their career. They could relapse at any point. And that's if you remember, that's my biggest issue with Zion. I don't know how long that will last because that freakish athleticism on that frame, I don't know if human bodies are even built to handle that. So let's see. But with Embiid, I'm not surprised. And absolutely, I'd drop Embiid because you're not dropping Giannis. Nobody's dropping Giannis. KD has been on a tear, probably right up there now in the MVP conversation prior to the injury, right? For me, it was like Tatum, KD, maybe Luka, and Giannis is in that. Like Giannis has that LeBron problem now. He could do anything. Nobody's going to care. Like that, the other day we were watching that pass where Giannis damn near fell out of bounds and he somehow found a backhanded pass to the perimeter from behind, from around the defender. Jokic makes that pass, people are losing their minds. Luka makes that pass, internet goes crazy. Giannis, who cares? Like it's like you're Giannis, it's expected. So he has that problem now. You're not dropping him. There's no way anyone's dropping Tatum because he's again right up there in the MVP conversation. And he has a team record to prove, to back that up, unlike Luka. So Embiid is an easy choice even otherwise. Even if he was fit, if I had to drop one of these four, I'd drop Embiid.
Yeah, that's a tough choice because he's averaging nearly 40 and 40 is not easy.
No, so two reasons, right? One, yeah, you can't drop the other three. Two, let's assume all of them are equal on merit. It's the All-Star game. Who's going to entertain me the least? Embiid. Maybe he'll entertain me with his dancing before whatever. On Instagram, he'll entertain me. But on court, KD is box office. You can't give that up. Tatum's a lot of fun when he chooses to be. Giannis is, so
Giannis plays like it's a playoff.
Yeah.
You can't drop him for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about is we are 5 weeks away from the trade deadline, and now is the time where teams go out and get their final piece or a piece that will put them in the playoffs. A playoff team, push them into contention, right? And I'm looking at the bottom teams because those are the places where you get these assets from. And let's start off with the absolute bottom team in the East, the Detroit Pistons. I'm looking at the roster and I see Bojan Bogdanovic over there, and I'm thinking this guy could fit on any roster.
Any team.
He can fit on the Mavs. Mavs need shooters. And this guy is shooting 40% from 3 this season on that woeful Detroit team. So he would fit on the Mavs. Imagine Cleveland. They have 1, 2, 4, and 5 set. They just need a 3. And Bogdanovic fits that bill absolutely perfectly. I think he'd be amazing on Cleveland. I'm thinking of Suns. You want Crowder's replacement, you could fit in Bogdanovic over there. Thinking of Milwaukee Bucks, you just said Chris Middleton's not playing, you want a replacement. Bogdanovic is awesome shooter. He can play in the playoffs. I think he's a big game player as well.
Yeah.
Look at Sacramento Kings. What is their weak point? Harrison Barnes is not scoring. I know he scored 30 today, but he's been out of form. And if you fill in Harrison Barnes' spot with Bogdanovic, that'll go well. Imagine Bogdanovic on the Lakers. I am seeing why is Bogdanovic on the Pistons when he can play for probably 10 or 15 of these other teams.
Yeah, he's
preferred slot for him.
Yeah, I would. So Cleveland's exciting, but I really like the Kings for Bogdanovic because prior to Sabonis coming to the Kings and Haliburton just had that one sort of up and coming season, but through that and before that, we saw Kings play pretty entertaining basketball. I'm still in NFL mania. We saw Kings play pretty interesting, exciting basketball when it was Fox with his. Back then it was just speed and athleticism. I think his game has evolved really beautifully since then. But it was Fox and it was Buddy Hield. And it was just bam, 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 bam. Didn't they have the other Bogdanovic at some point, I think they did, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. So they were like a 3 shooting machine at one point, which is so much fun to watch. This Bogdanovic is similar, except he's also got the experience to slow the game down. He understands tempo. He understands how to pace an offense. He was such a big asset to that Utah team. And he was actually their big shot man. They had Donovan Mitchell, they had Conley, they had whoever, but he was their big shot man, come clutch. So I really like him on the Kings with Fox and Sabonis. If they can add this dimension to their play, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I love the Kings fit the most. That being said, so many teams can use a proper wing player. Lakers could, man, anyone's going to be a good fit on the Lakers. Lakers have like 4 slots open, so everyone's going to be a good fit on the Lakers. But I don't think Bogdanovic is that.
Have the assets to trade away. So
Yeah. No, even otherwise, Bogdanovic.
You give unprotected first.
The Lakers, I won't put anything past the Lakers, but at this point, I don't think Bogdanovic is quite what they need. They badly need a two-way wing that can shoot and somebody with a certain level of pace, because that again, they get hard done by when the tempo moves up. You see a couple of guys huffing and puffing. So Bogdanovic might not be that great a fit for the Lakers.
No, I like the Kings fit as well. I love the Cleveland fit. I think he's
a
piece for them.
Yeah.
Fits in really well. I don't know if Cleveland have the assets to provide it, right? Because they spent a lot on Donovan Mitchell. I don't think they have any draft picks left. So.
They'll have to give up actual assets in terms of like players that play today. Yeah. Levert maybe, it doesn't seem like they're overly.
Right? And Cleveland is not giving out Mobley or Jarrett Allen or anyone.
No, but like a Levert, that I don't think they depend that heavily on him. So that'll probably be a piece they'll be okay moving on.
But why would Detroit take Levert, right?
Why would Detroit take anyone at this point? Like, what do they do with anyone at this point?
Want either young players or they want draft picks.
Draft picks, yeah. That's true. Detroit has a new process.
Yep. With no Cunningham and ranking for Wembanyama next, and who knows what next. Looking at the other bottom teams, the Charlotte Hornets have a few good pieces. I don't think LaMelo is up for sale, but Terry Rozier might be. Gordon Hayward might be. You see any teams picking these teams?
He's still in the NBA.
Brings in the experience. He is in the NBA. He plays a few games here and there. But I think he'll be a good piece for Cleveland in the same spot again. It brings in the experience that they need. And I don't think it cost as much as Bogdanovic.
Yeah, I love him for Cleveland. It's the fitness headache. If Cleveland can get him without dropping draft picks, I love it. When fit, he's a great team player. Again, a Utah Jazz alum, by the way. There's something in the water in Utah that makes just amazing squad players. Hayward really slots in anywhere, not a big ego guy, can share the ball, share the floor, doesn't matter. Good from all accounts, a great locker room presence and a good squad player. It's just he's barely ever fit. That's a big risk for Cleveland. I think Cleveland have a good thing going. I think they don't need to take a punt like this. They can continue building without... Because if they take a punt, it's got to be something that makes them at least an NBA Finals contender. I don't think Hayward's going to do that for them. So they should probably just hold off and continue to build patiently. Just their own team and how they evolve each year is good enough to take them deep into the playoffs every year. So now they're one big move away from really elevating. And Donovan Mitchell proving that he can be the cornerstone of like a conference final franchise at least. Staple conference finals franchise.
Agree with you. Yeah. Looking at the other teams, Orlando Magic, I don't think they have any assets to sell because all of their players are young. I think you want to hold on to them. They have a nice thing going on there. I think you keep them.
Yeah, they should just still tank for Wembanyama, build a college squad.
You don't even need Wembanyama. You already have Bol. So they should just do whatever it takes for them to play well.
Yeah. I think with
are the Wizards doing?
No, go on. Again, internet lag. Go on.
Yeah. So what are the Wizards doing in 12th spot? They should either be 14th or they should be 8th or 9th. What are they doing in 12th spot? It's a nothing spot, right? And you look at their assets and you look at the team. Actually, the team looks good enough to be a playing team at least. Who's not posing a deal, but they're languishing in 12th again. Do you think any of these assets would be on offer? Kuzma, Beal.
Oh yeah.
Porzingis, I think they'll hold on to him because they just got him. You think if you had to trade away one asset, would you trade Kuzma or would you trade Beal? if you're the Wizards?
I trade Kuzma. I think with Beal, they're now in that it's a long-term live-in relationship. He doesn't want to go out. They don't want to let him go out. It's one of those sort of neither partner's happy, but they don't want to separate. It's a bit like that with Beal. It's almost like Lillard at Portland. Like there's nothing that can make Lillard leave Portland. He'll live and die there. He's just gonna. It's just fine. It's a personal decision he's making for his family and whatever. So Beal, I think, is in that mode.
I love Lillard for that. I mean, you rarely find such guys, right?
Yeah.
When you saw Giannis do that with Milwaukee.
So I don't think. By the way, I don't think so. Giannis genuinely wanted to win there, and he knew there was a way to win there. I don't think with Lillard it is. He says it, but I think somewhere he let it out. He said it's also a personal decision. At the end of the day, this is a job. There are other factors to consider. There's family, there's school, there's kids. That's fair, absolutely. But I think Beal is in that mold, so I don't think he's going anywhere. I'd much rather see them trade for Kuzma. Because they're not getting box office talent in return for Beal anyway. What's the point? Might as well hold on to what you have. Kuzma to the Lakers, make it happen.
Better value. Kuzma would love it. He's tweeting out there, California air hits you different and whatnot. He's trying, shooting a shot. I won't blame him. I think he'll be a good fit for the Lakers. Brilliant team player to have. I would love Kuzma on any squad.
Yeah, it's like football. Players not quite there yet, so you give him out. You give him out on loan, and when he comes back fully matured.
I'm looking at the team above them, Raptors. Now, are the Raptors really tanking? Because I don't know what they're doing. They have a good team. They have Siakam, they have OG Anunoby, they have Scotty Barnes, the rookie of the year from last season, Van Fleet. This team should be contending. What are they doing tanking?
Yeah, bit of a confused team. I think they're again gonna. With the Raptors, I've learned to believe that there's always a plan. So if there's always a plan, my best guess is it's not even. They're not. I don't even know if they're tanking because they're not even doing that fully. Like if you're questioning why the Wizards are in 12th, why the fuck are the Raptors in 11th? Like what are they doing there? Either move up or move down rapidly. I think they'll be stripped for parts. I think they'll go that route of rebuilding. Van Fleet is hot property at this point. Somebody like a Miami Heat would kill to have an FVV. They've already had a successful pilot with Lowry, so get FVV from the same school. See if that fits. And it should, because they have a big void in them.
I would love the Van Fleet at Miami.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's like... No, Van Fleet anywhere makes sense. So any team that has a backward void, Van Fleet will make sense. Van Fleet for me is like an upper echelon Jalen Brunson type situation where there's so many teams where he'll get space to elevate and he's going to elevate the franchise as well. Brunson does it at a certain level, Van Fleet does it at almost elite level. So Van Fleet would fit into the Lakers, absolutely. They'd fit into, why not the Clippers? I know they have a bunch of options in the backcourt. None better than Van Fleet. Not even, well, I mean, it's Hospital FC, so whoever's fit. But none better than Van Fleet. I'm not saying Clippers will make a move for him. I'm just saying there's so many squads where Van Fleet can plug in and can elevate. I mean, fuck, why not dump Chris Paul, put Van Fleet in Phoenix Suns if that's a legit possibility. I mean, there's so many squads where...
That's a level up move, right?
Correct. Man, our internets are all over the place. We're hearing each other with like 3-second lag. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. The team above them, I'm not going to talk about the Bulls. I don't think they're tanking. I think they're making a run for it. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But I think they're going for it. The last team I want to talk about is the Atlanta Hawks. And this is a question that we got on YouTube as well. What is with Trae Young? With all things going around with the Hawks, do you see Trae Young being the next superstar to ask out? Is that a possibility? And if so, where do you see Trae Young moving? I mean, is there a team that would want him? I don't know if I'd want Trae Young anywhere near my franchise, given the style he plays, given his size. Can you win a championship with Trae Young?
I mean, there are squads where it's possible. It'll have to be a squad that doesn't really care about defensive contribution. That straight up wipes out a bunch of teams. It'll have to be a squad where there's either a superstar willing to share floor space with him, or nope, he doesn't fit. Or there's no superstar and he's the superstar that they acquire. There's very few teams where they would happily take Trae Young. I think the Mavs were genius for swapping for Luka. Um Something like maybe a Wizards where we've seen John Wall and Beal before, that could sort of work with Trae. And Beal is just one of those. He's happy to let anyone do his thing. He's not really hungry. He's a bit like Daniel Ricciardo in F1. People are going to eat him up. Teammates are going to just eat him up because he's too nice. Beal is like that. So that's the only fit I see. And I think now it begs the question: were the Hawks onto something when they made this DeJounte move? It almost feels like they were setting up for an eventual trade departure. And then this squad's going to look entirely different because they're going to, if Trey moves on, Collins has been for a while now rumored to be on the lookout. Capella is, he's in and out, and they have really no backup. So these guys are again going into that sort of rebuild phase where they have to sit and figure things out. I don't know how many draft picks they hold also, so it's a bit of a weird situation for the Hawks. They'll probably have to flip Trae Young for a bunch of picks and maybe some player value in return.
Yeah, it's not a full rebuild, right? It's kind of like you replaced
Yeah,
a
it's
bunch
hard.
of pieces and then try to see if So I don't mind that move actually. If Trae Young wants out, I think if I were the Atlanta Hawks, I'd tell him to find a team and go. I don't care. Get a bunch of picks. You know the benchmark of picks, right? If Rudy Gobert can get you 5 first-round picks,
exactly.
that's the bare minimum you can expect. So get that and go wherever you want, and I think Atlanta would be better. I don't see a team that could win a championship with Trae Young, especially because when it comes to playoff time, you need to defend. You need all 5 defending. And if Trae Young is the best player in the team, I don't think
it's not happening.
He could be the second best player in the team. Yeah.
So maybe the Suns then.
I mean, it's
Trae Young. Get Trae Young. I think the Hawks would be more than happy to take Ayton and whatever else they can get, and a few picks. Why not?
Yeah.
Lakers. Did you say Lakers?
No, I didn't say Lakers. There's not enough ball going around in the Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron and Russell Westbrook when he plays. Who's going to share the ball with Trae Young? I don't think that. But I like the Suns fit. I mean, the Suns should be a little brave to move off Chris Paul right now. But given his legacy and the number of years he spent, I don't think that.
Yeah.
So those are the teams I think that will tank and have some assets on offer. In the West, I don't really see a lot of teams doing that. I think on the Rockets, there's Eric Gordon, who's always available. He's one of those in the Turner mold where he's always available but never goes anywhere.
Yeah. Available for a trade.
Poeltl, we spoke about him before. Yeah, but nobody takes him or he doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
The Jazz, if they decide to tank, have a few assets. I think they're definitely going to hold on to Markkanen given how he's been playing. But someone like Jordan Clarkson could be interesting for some teams. Mike Conley could be interesting for a few teams as a ball handler and experience. You see any destinations for them?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams can use Clarkson's squad depth. For example, Milwaukee. Now, I don't know how the trade would sit, but they could really use a sixth-man scoring option like Clarkson. He's not terrible at defending. He's no Drew Holiday, but he's okay. He could be in the sixth man of the year conversation every year if he has the right platform. So any team that needs a little bit of sort of points off the bench squad depth could use him. Like there are very few teams like the Clippers and the Pelicans that go 12, 14, 15 deep. All other teams desperately need some squad depth. If there's a move to be made even in Brooklyn, I'd like him as a fit. Brooklyn have one too many shooters. They could make something happen if they want.
I like it. I've been hearing rumors about D'Angelo Russell being involved in trade rumors with the Miami Heat for Kyle Lowry, by the way. And what I heard, this is from Brian Windhorst of the Heat, right, where he said it's a win-win situation for both teams because Miami Heat saves on Kyle Lowry's salary because they see that it's not working out. And Minnesota could do with Kyle Lowry's experience. If you need someone to mentor Anthony Edwards, Kyle Lowry would be a good fit.
Yeah.
And Miami Heat, on the other hand, get the ball handling experience of D'Angelo Russell, who can be a good shot maker, can be a good shot creator. I like that move actually. What do you think?
Just for the experience, because they lose out on a legit scoring option. And in Cat's absence, it's a scoring option they need. But for the experience, sure, I like it. I'd have been okay even if they bring in DeRozan and somehow figure out how that starting lineup works. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like for like backcourt trade, they're not. So where the Timberwolves stand, they're not really yet even in a deep playoff run conversation. They like get to the playoffs and let's see best effort spaces.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad time to bring in somebody like a Lowry. A season, maybe two. How much do you get out of Lowry? That's about it. And by then there should be a plan in place. Hopefully, having worked things out to elevate. Because they've got good years left for Gobert.
D'Angelo in Minnesota, by the way, he doesn't defend. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Minnesota handling of D'Angelo. He doesn't defend, takes too many shots. He should just be passing the ball to Anthony Edwards every single time, and he'll get you the points. But somehow he wants to be the superstar there, and I think that's a problem because there's only one star in that team. That's Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards.
exactly.
So I think it'll be better for Minnesota to ship him out and ship Cat out too if that's possible.
Cat for Aiton, trade of the year. Number one draft pick for number one draft pick.
Cat is way more valuable than he.
I know, of course he is.
Any fantasy picks for this week?
Yeah, I made two amazing picks. Let's see how long they last. Yeah. I got Oladipo just at the right time when he started picking up. Again, fitness gamble, but let's see. It cost me nothing. I got him from free agency. Same with Hunter in Atlanta. So yeah, these would be my two picks. I think now there's enough injuries in the league that you could start looking at people who used to come off the bench who will either see not just more minutes but a lot more short opportunities. So I'd pick shooters that can make it count and with a preference towards perimeter shooting. Or somebody like an Oladipo who every game you're going to get defensive contribution from. I don't know what he'll score as in game points, but I know he's going to get steals. I know he's going to pick up nifty points here and there. And with all of these players, the good thing is because they're not primary ball handlers, because they're not ball hogs, the usage rate is not going to be through the roof. The chances of losing points to turnovers is not that high. You'll have one or two at max with any of these people. So that would be the usual direction in which I think.
Love it. I absolutely love it. I was actually looking at the free agency to see if I could pick up DeAndre Hunter, but I saw him gone. And that's when I realized, oops.
I think same day. I just sort of
like, I think the pick would be Emmanuel quickly. He scored 26 today. He's starting now in place of RJ Barrett, who's gone off injured. And he's a guy who will get you assists, he'll get you points, he'll get you 3-pointers, and I think high scoring option. Brunson is more than happy to pass.
Oh yeah.
I really like quickly. So I haven't picked him yet. He's out there. I have Brunson, so I don't want to get too New Yorkie in my team. But he's out there.
Fuck. I just checked if he's available. Somebody took him in our league.
Okay.
The guy I'm chasing.
My pick, well, that brings us to the end of this episode. As always, great fun chatting with you, and I'll catch you next week.
Alright, man. Cheers. Bye.